Hi, I'm Tawana Freeman and welcome to BLC TV. I am so excited. Today is just a wonderful day. The weather's great. I'm excited because when the weather's great, my energy's up, and the best combination is to have an interview and a guest that I can present to you that is probably more energy than I have. And I say that because I know that I'm a busy woman. I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, I have community work, I have outreach programs. But I think I've met my match today. My guest, as many of you probably have heard her, if you've been around for a while and you're a follower of Tom Joyner and the Tom Joyner Morning Show, then you have heard the name Nikki Woods. If you like watching your news from Black America Web, then you have seen Nikki Woods. So my guest today is the Grow Global expert herself, Nikki Woods. Hi, Nikki. How are you?
Hi, Tawana. I am good. I am so happy to be here.
It's so amazing because by the time it's all said and done, a lot of us who learned about you through the Tom Joyner platform, always heard him mention your name. You know, the person behind the scenes, the little voice that would pop in here and there. But as time went on, you came from behind to the front, but you weren't a stranger to the media. You have a long history in radio.
It's not that long, Tawana.
Look, it's as long as mine.
Yeah, most people don't know. I mean, I've always been what we call talent. So I've always been on the air. I've been on camera. And Tom gave me a phenomenal opportunity to go behind the scenes and not only learn, some different skills and add to my skill set, but also to learn syndicated radio. So I made a very conscious decision to take this opportunity and then kind of work my way in to what I really love doing, and that's communicating with people via different platforms. So whether it's social media, on air, on radio, or on camera for television, I just love communicating with people.
Well, I'm going to step our audience back for a second, because what's important that our audience should know is that yes, you've been in media, you've been in front of the camera, you have that wonderful radio history. But before that, you were an educator. You were in a classroom teaching fifth graders.
I was.
So you went from a classroom of fifth graders to a radio show where you were speaking to millions of people, to Tom Joyner when you probably tripled that almost in numbers, and working with Tom Joyner. So the transition has been incredible. But here you are now as this life coach helping people build their global brand.
Absolutely.
So you're like, what did you expect? You got to keep it moving. But that's the point about how your range is so wide and you're so good at all the things that you've done over the years. So let's talk a little bit about what drew you into the coaching profession to allow you to share and teach at this level.
Well, in between, I was at WGCI in Chicago, and you're right, we had 1 million listeners just in that market alone. In between the time that I went from that to Tom Joyner, I had some downtime. That's what we like to call it instead of being fired. It's just some downtime. And I decided to extend that downtime and stay home because I had my oldest son who was getting ready to go to kindergarten, and I thought it would be really cool to stay home and take him to school and make cookies and spend afternoons together. And after a week, I was like, ooh, not so much. That is not me.
Right.
So I started dabbling with social media and Facebook, and really was like, I could, I developed a whole nother platform where I could talk to people in large numbers of people about what was going on in the world. I could share information the same way that I was doing. So I really fell in love with it. And it was one of the things that attracted Tom and the company to me, because they were really looking to then develop Tom's social media platform and kind of introduce him to that world. So when I went from Tom, which is I went from 1 million to 8 million. I like to tell people that. Nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I wasn't too far off. That's it.
But that was the one thing that we really wanted to focus on in helping Tom to establish his brand online which was now 6 years ago, I learned that I could really show people how to develop a platform, their own platform, using social media and sometimes traditional media. I mean, back in the day, we kind of had to wait for other people to offer their platform to us, i.e., Oprah and Tom Joyner and Phil Donahue. I mean, we waited for that call.
Yes.
But what I have found now is that once we develop our own platform using social media, the Oprahs, the Phil Donahues, the Tom Joyners start to call you because they see that you have an ear through social media and that you have established a voice and people want to have what you're offering. So people we call you because we know once you have a platform and you add it to our platform, it's a bigger platform.
Right. But
So,
you know what? Again, that's you doing what you do best, and that is sharing information.
mhm.
You love doing that. However, taking on a business that you have called and or now branded as Grow Global or hashtag Grow Global. And for those of you who are watching, don't go there now, but below this video are the links where you can follow to find out all of this information about Nikki Woods and what she's doing to help entrepreneurs and people who are literally active online looking for ways to grow their business model. We're talking about increasing your internet visibility, your platform, your message. She's coaching people in this area. Now, Nikki, there are a lot of people out here who are experienced at doing just that. However, what is so unique about you is that you've been on both sides of the table.
Mhm.
What we respect most as coaches and what we're able to do for our clients is being able to have that shared experience, right? So where we can literally say, been there, done that, and let me tell you what's worked. Tested that doesn't work, but this does. Save money over here, you can do something better over there, right? So you're offering your clients an amazing opportunity to work with you. That is not common.
No, but it's needed. It's needed because I think that what a lot of us do, and I think so many women especially are in situations that they're not happy in, they're at jobs that don't fulfill them, and they're looking for a way to start their own business. But before they do, I want to help you develop a platform. So when you are ready to step out, I don't ever suggest anybody just quit their job and go on passion. I mean, sometimes, the job quits you and you have to do what you have to do.
Right.
But if you're in a situation where your bills are being paid, I try to help people develop a platform that can sustain their business, their brand, their product, whatever. So when they are ready to do their passion full time, they have an engaged audience ready and waiting for them. And you're right, I have done it wrong many, many times. And I want to save you some steps. And what I'm very clear on is organic platform growth. One of the things that has become really popular is buying friends, buying followers, buying Facebook likes. But what people don't realize is that when you do that, you're not engaging anyone. Nobody cares about your business, your brand, or your product. They're just clicking a like because somebody is paid for it. So when it's time to launch a product and you're wondering why nobody purchases it, it's because you have bought all these friends, followers, and fans, and they don't really care about what you are doing or what you're offering. So what I really advocate to people is to grow that organic interest. Have people invest in you first, and then when you're ready to launch something, they'll invest in that too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have found that, I mean, by doing all the wrong things, by stepping back and seeing, okay, well, she's not putting out content anymore. Where'd she go? And then they're on to the next person who still is putting out content. So I have a system that really works, a system that has grown my platform alone to past 1 million people. And Tom is, 10 times that. So it works.
Well then, okay, as you all are hearing, she said she had a system. Don't we love systems? I love systems. I mean, that's just, for me, if you can tell me steps through 1 through Z or 2 through 12, I don't care. At the end of the day, the goal is to actually have actionable steps that can be accomplished. And so often we buy products and services. So often we invest in a bunch of things that we believe is the new hot thing to have or to learn, and we buy it and it sits on the shelf or sits on our computer. We don't read it, we don't open it, we don't use that tool, we don't leverage the information that we bought into, and it just gets there and it grows stale. Why? Because no one's walking you through it, because a lot of us don't have the technical, wherewithal to figure out how to implement those things. So knowing that you have a system, I would like to talk about, Grow Global and how you've structured your coaching business and how people can connect with you and be a part of your clientele.
Well, the Grow Global part is just that. I mean, we are in a, in a time now where we can reach people globally just by pushing a button on our computer. So it is very feasible for you to have international clients, international customers, international connections. So we can have global businesses. So that's just the global part. I mean, you can always find out more about me and my coaching on my website at nikkieWoodsmedia.com. But part of what I do is I help you narrow down with this system, narrow down what content your fans, your tribe, your customers, your followers, whatever you wish to call them, are interested in, and how you can give that to them on a consistent, systematic basis. We figure out what platforms work for you. I mean, sometimes people just try to be on everything, and even though I am, I don't advocate that. I think this has been a long time coming, and now just as they add new platforms, I learn them. But if you're a newbie, then I would say pick 2, maybe 3, and learn those really, really well. I think that we also need to figure out where your fans and followers are. I'm a Twitter girl. I love Twitter. I am like one of those people. I don't like to talk on the phone. I like to text. I want to say something in 140 characters or less and get out. I'm true radio. I mean, we have 4 minutes to get a message, sometimes 60 seconds. So I'm really quick with it. But all of my people, or the majority of them, are on Facebook. So I really had to learn Facebook so that I could speak to my tribe and connect with them there. I mean, there's no point in me spending all my time on Twitter and not making any money if everybody's hanging out on Facebook. So we have to figure that out. And then we have to learn how we disseminate the content for each platform so that it works for you. We learn about how to make sure that you're providing valuable content the majority of the time, and then asking for the sale the minority of the time, instead of just blasting information on how people can buy your product. It really is about people, like I said earlier, investing in you. I have learned once people invest in you, they will follow you to the ends of the earth as long as what you're doing serves their needs.
But is there some type of market advantage to having some technical background? Is there a myth with that?
I don't think so. Not when it comes to social media. I mean, I think it really is just learning the different platforms. I mean, we're not building Twitter, we're not building Facebook. We're really just finding out how to share our information. I think it gets a little bit more advanced when you look at maybe automating some of your systems. I mean, for Twitter, I automate a lot. Because Twitter, you really, since it is so quick, a lot of information that you put out there does not get seen by the majority of your followers. So you have to really have a repetitive system for Twitter. And so automate, but I think that that's like scheduling in your calendar. I mean, I think it's pretty easy. I am a true believer, and I have learned this in the past 2 years, that I really started focusing on being an entrepreneur, that you have to know when you have to hire somebody else to do it. I built a website only because I wanted to be able to say I built a website. I don't ever want to have to do it again. So you hire people to do it. I mean, I am not a technical person. I am not the one that wants to figure out a code and how to do this. You have to hire people. Somebody might have a stronger background in marketing, which will serve you really well in social media, because you know how to deliver messages, you know how to get people engaged. But if you can't build a website, that's fine. You have to know when to play on your strengths and when to find somebody else who has talents that you don't have.
Right. Let's talk about some of your learning curves, because being able to get where you are, I mean, you've applied a lot of your talents and skills, and we talked about just a second ago, you mentioned the fact that you weren't technical, and you've had the growth pains of most entrepreneurs. So give us some of the growing pains that you've experienced, some of the course corrections. Did you ever have to start all over? Did you in your process, did you decide that wait a minute, I'm not working with my the right or the perfect client for me? What was that process like for you as you reached Grow Global?
I don't know if we have enough time for all of my learning curves, but I'll tell you the big one, because I do talk a lot about people making shifts in their business. I don't think I ever had to start all over, but I have had to make shifts. I think that we have an end goal We come up with the plan, and we are, by hell and high water, we are going to stick to that plan till we get to that end goal. And a lot of times we just have to make little shifts to make the journey a little bit easier to the destination. So I always advocate that people be open to making shifts in their business, especially if you hire somebody to help you grow your business. I mean, they have an expertise, and as you know, I mean, even as coaches, even I don't care what matter, level of life you get to, you're always going to need somebody that knows more than you do to help you continue to grow. So just be open to shifts. And be open to help. I mean, I think for so long I figured, that I was the best person to do it. I was the only person to do it. And if I didn't do it, it wasn't going to get done. And I had to realize that a team can accomplish a lot more than just one person, which is really interesting because I've always worked as part of a team in radio. And I really respect people being in their lanes and just doing what they do best. But when it came to my baby, it was so much harder. So
yes, that's true. And I think that's an excellent point. So now, let's talk about the person that's been in and they have been working, let's say for the last 3 years, and they are considering a new product launch or something like that. Would they be a client for you?
They would be a client for me. I mean, we definitely help people manage their social media to launch their product. But what I do like to caution people, because, as you said, I mean, I think we all have our perfect clients, and we all have our clients that we don't want to have anything to do with. Well, and I shouldn't say that, but they're just not right for us. And one of the things that I stand upon is this is not a short-term marketing investment. So say you have an event and you've got 2 weeks out and you come to me and you're like, Nikki, I just need to do a full-blown social media blitz. But you have 2 followers on Twitter and 10 on Facebook. It's not going to work.
Sorry.
It's not going to work.
I'm sorry. Yes, that's no.
But it's not going to work. So
that's very unrealistic, right?
That organic growth. I mean, I can do that. I can help you with your messaging. I can help you, but then I feel like a scam artist because you're not going to get the results that you expect.
Right.
So I always advocate, but if you do have a launch, we can definitely, go through your messaging, go through your, how you're going to do your social media strategy and help you set that up. But I much prefer that you come to me,
early,
in advance when you do start your business and say, I need to start building a platform, or even before you start your business and say, I need to start building this platform. So when I'm ready, they're already there waiting for me. They're already there for me.
I think that, one of the things that I've noticed out of all the outsourced services that I have to run my businesses, I believe that social media is the one that I could not do without. And that's only because of the way the world has shifted. The internet marketing is critical, and we know that there's some very long-term things you have to have in place, and one of them is social media engagement. And, and the good thing is that it's very cost effective. If you do it right, it's the gift that keeps on giving. And so a lot of us tend to neglect the social media. We don't give it the time and attention. Now, I am not the best social media girl. I have to be honest. I mean, you can go to my Facebook page right now and you'll say, what is that? Right. But that's because I have not grown to the place where I know exactly how much I want to give the public. You know what I mean? So it's a technique. It's something you have to learn. It's something you have to open up and understand. And I'm a little busy at the moment, but I know that it's on my list to become a little bit more engaged. So I let somebody else do it for me, right? One of the things I realize in that is, you have to, in addition to scheduling, and doing that advanced plan, you do have to give some personality. You have to jump in there. Somebody can do.
I love it. Okay, good.
So to be able to say that I work with Nikki Woods because I need her to help me become a little bit more connected with my audience is legit. Because I know that it is one of those things that is critical to my business model. Okay, so let's back up a little bit more in my last few minutes with you, because this has been great. All right, so we know that you are, again, this media mogul. I'm gonna call you media mogul.
I'll accept it.
So what inspired you when you decided to launch from the classroom to the radio? and you knew that that was home for you. I mean, you got on radio and it just resonated. And then you went from radio to growing global and you're just connecting with your clients. What inspired you to put your finger there and say, I'm going to stop right here because I love it that much?
You know, I think it's interesting because I think growing up, and I'll say we so I don't offend anybody, but we as parents project on our children what we think that they should do. And so I went through a lot of different career decisions, but despite the fact that I tell people I love my daddy, you know, we won't get into that story, but I love my daddy. But the two things that connected my daddy and I were baseball. I would go to baseball games with him, and I would recite the news to him over dinner. So I would give him like my newscast over dinner. And those are the two things that connected us. And I did that for most of my years growing up. I loved talking. I loved communicating. I was a writer. I would always want to give speeches at church. That is what I love to do. But nobody ever once said, you know what, maybe you should talk for a living, or maybe you should write for a living, or, you know, it was always, you know, you should be a lawyer because I had lawyers in my family, or you should go into business because I got a scholarship based on that, or you should go into education because you really love kids. And I did. And so I landed in education. But what I found out was I do not need to be in a room with 25th graders for 8 hours a day. I give all the respect in the world to teachers. When you find a great teacher, you really need to hold on to her and appreciate her, because it is sometimes a thankless profession. And, you know, it's just a really hard job. And so I figured, you know, that I would, while I was still young, I wasn't married, didn't have any kids, didn't have a mortgage, I would go back to school and get a degree in something that I really, really enjoyed doing, and that was journalism. So, you know, I did internships. I always advocate people do internships so you can find out what you're getting yourself into. And radio just was it. It just was it. It is such an intimate way to communicate with people. They don't know what you look like half the time. They just hear the sound of your voice. And it's really like you're in a room talking to a person. And I loved that. Television wasn't for me because people were more worried about where I got my dress from than what I said about the fatal crash that happened earlier that day. So radio just really was a fit. And I advocate that people really, and it's never too late, I think, to figure it out, but really figure out what brings you joy. And like you said, I think you said it so well. I feel like I'm at home every day I walk into that studio, every single day.
That's amazing.
And I really wish that for everybody to be able to find that.
Right. And that's the thing. It is sometimes it takes us a lifetime. But, you know, if we are committed to wanting to get there, we can discover that one thing that causes us to jump out of bed and just show up, no matter if it's raining outside or if it's cold. The fact that you love it so much, it just draws you, it calls you. And I do know that you are a Howard alumni.
Yeah.
So I will give you that quick plug, HU. Okay, so as an alum, I have to show the type or the quality of student that graduates from that university. So there's one more piece to Nikki Woods that we have not covered, that we will not close without mentioning. And that is the fact that she is an author. As if there wasn't anything else that we need to add to her plate.
Yeah. She
has written a book called Easier Said Than Done.
Yes.
Now, this is a novel, I understand.
So I've written other books. I mean, I've written stuff on social media, you know, downloads, yes. But this is a novel, and this is just something that I have loved doing. I say that I'm a really good storyteller. My mom might say that I used to be a liar growing up. But even growing up, I would make up these stories. It is fascinating. And to me, it's almost like real life. It is just fascinating watching the way humans behave and how they will react when put in different situations. And that's what fiction is to me. Coming up with some people and figuring out what's going to happen with them. And so Easier Said Than Done is based on an entertainment executive who has to go to Jamaica when her grandmother dies and runs into an old love. And it's just all of these different romantic, but also it's about friendship, and it's about family, and it's about reconciliation. And it's about following your heart, which is really what I advocate across any kind of platform. It's about doing what you love, and sometimes not doing what people think is right, or even what you think is what you're supposed to do, and doing what feels right for your life and making those hard decisions sometimes.
That's right, because the byline in it is, can a modern woman find balance between career and family and work? And I think that I mean, we all are, and women that have families and we're active, where we have a wonderful life. There's so much going on, and it is a novel, but there is so much. I'm sure there are a number of lessons that
Yes.
the people that have read it and have provided their testimonial about it. I think you all will enjoy buying the book and reading it and giving Nikki some feedback on her novel. I think
Yes.
that it would be fantastic, and that would encourage her to write another novel, or and just continue to do what she loves to do. I mean, by supporting her in her quest to continue to communicate, and that's what it's about. It's her desire to communicate. By supporting her, we can continue to make room for her to just expand the world in her way, in her space. And that's what we want. We want more quality people out here doing great things. And so, Nikki, thank you. I think
Thank you.
I tried to get it all in.
You did great.
I said I'm just going to go bit by bit, and I'm going to see how much I can get in before my 30 minutes was up. But for those of you who are watching, thank you for your time. Below this video, as I said, you will find all the links that you need in order to reach out to Nikki. One, to tell her how much you appreciate her story, but at the same time to purchase her products. And if you are an entrepreneur and you are ready to take those steps, those next steps, those critical steps, then you need to click on that link, and you need to go in and hire her and block your time so that she can coach you to the next level. I think it's time. It's time for all of us who have what it takes to be in this market. She said it best, grow global. Why not now? Go for it. Thank you. Thank you for your time, Nikki. You're awesome.
Thank you. I wish I could hug you right now. I'm so excited to be here. I love it. Thank you.
All right. Until next time, you have to come back and give us, an opportunity to learn from you again.